out in the Midwest, you're watching Harris competing much stronger than where Biden ended up last week after the debate. But where she struggles is out in Arizona. And Arizona is different than these other states. When we ask them their most important issue, for in Arizona, it's immigration, 30%. All of these other
Mm-hmm.
states that you mentioned, 40% was economy, was their top issue. And Arizona is different. And that's why potentially you're seeing a different result there at a 5-point lead, while all of the other polls are within 1 or 2 points.
Not a surprise then to see GOP ads, and there have been several already made targeting Kamala Harris, all focus on her record on immigration and border policy. Is that going to be the Achilles heel for the Kamala Harris campaign, knowing that she was assigned to the border by Joe Biden?
Well, certainly, former President Trump will try to connect her to that issue. We'll see, obviously, out west how much that's going to play. We're going to take a look at New Mexico and Nevada, where that might be a big issue for those voters on the border. But then we got to look at the Midwest and see how they're playing with immigration. That's really a secondary issue. It's about 10% as the most important issue in those states. And as I mentioned, the economy, that's up at 40%. So while there might be some benefit on, some movement on the immigration, I think in those other states, it's going to be about the economy.
You talked to Democrats about who delegates should support here, and pretty remarkable considering where we were, Spencer, even a week ago, talking about various governors, whether it was Cooper or Beshear, Shapiro, Whitmer. The Democrat bench was full, we heard. And within, my goodness, 24 hours of Joe Biden announcing his decision when he kicked out that letter, Kamala Harris had the delegates to close the deal. What did you learn from talking with Democrats in this poll?
Well, generally speaking, they're rallying around Harris. As you notice, about 80% in each state would like Harris to be the nominee. And so that, I think, has a lot to do with some fallout from President Biden's debate performance, where Democrats were really concerned about not being able to beat Donald Trump. They see in Vice President Harris a potential candidate who will be more competitive. And that's what we're seeing in the numbers.
Let's play the Veep stakes here. You asked voters about her selection of a running mate, Spencer. What'd you learn?
Well, each state has their favorite son or daughter. We can go up to Michigan and they want their governor, Gretchen Whitmer. If we go out to Arizona, they want their senator, Mark Kelly. Georgia, Wisconsin, they're not quite sure. They kind of jump around between Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. But probably the strongest candidate out there is Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. Very popular in his home state. And Pennsylvania has the most electoral votes up for grabs.
Well, yeah, you just among Democratic voters overall, Shapiro gets 57%. Next in line, Mark Kelly at 42%. Is it because Democrats believe Shapiro can carry Pennsylvania for Kamala Harris?
Well, I'm not sure if that's what's driving Shapiro's support, but I do notice is that he's got a lot of support amongst younger voters. And we don't really see that with any other Democratic candidate except for Bernie Sanders. So it would be interesting if he could kind of carry that baton of the youth vote that Bernie Sanders has been carrying for about 8 years.
Well, it's interesting, too, to see Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, 42% prefer their senator. Maybe that shouldn't be a surprise. But I wonder your thoughts on the Sun Belt versus the Rust Belt. Our Republican analyst, Rick Davis, was talking about this a bit earlier, that we spent so much time talking about the blue wall, that it was Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And Kamala Harris may be opening a new path in the Sun Belt states. Do you agree?
Not right now. Look at Arizona. That's a big 5 points right there that she has to make up. And the top issue there is not something that is her strength. Maybe on the economy, as you were mentioning earlier, it seems to be rebounding. The markets are doing better. That might be, Bidenomics might be a campaign theme more than the immigration. So it's going to be interesting in the Sun Belt. North Carolina was a state that we kind of moved off of the swing states. We'll see if she can bring it back in. About, a fifth of the population there is African American. So that might give her a bounce in North Carolina. But I think giving up that blue wall, that's a big path for the Democratic success. And I would be very hesitant to do that.
So it sounds a lot like Shapiro to me based on this conversation, but I know the rules change based on the campaign. You asked an important question, Spencer, and I don't mean to be reading into this. You can tell me if I'm going in the wrong direction here, but a majority of Democratic voters in each state you talk to think Kamala Harris should be nominated at the Democratic National Convention this August. Does that imply that they do not want her to be nominated in this virtual call about a week from now?
I'm not sure about that. I think the virtual call is kind of going under the radar. That has to deal with the Ohio ballot access issue.
Yes.
It's going to have to obviously deal with potentially her running mate if that call has to go forward. It's a little gray about the necessity of that call, but regarding the convention, I don't think that they would mix it up. I think they're looking for a new horse, and they were concerned that the president wasn't going to be able to win, and that's why we're seeing
Understood.
this.
As we spend time with Spencer Kimball from Emerson College polling out with some of the first swing state data we're seeing since Joe Biden dropped out of the race. We're waiting for a debate, Spencer. I bet you are too. And it's interesting because we don't know if we're going to have one now. Kamala Harris tweeting last night, what happened anytime, any place? Because Donald Trump, I guess, doesn't like the venue or the network here that we were looking at for the next one. Trump spokesman Steve Chung says debate plans, quote, cannot be finalized until Democrats formally decide on their nominee. Based on your experience, do you think Trump's trying to get out of this? And will that have a bearing on polling and the final result in November? Voters want to see these two on stage together, right?
I would think so. I'm hoping that there'll be a debate. Obviously, the last debate had tremendous impact on this race, and so we'll see what the next debate might have. But with that said, voters are going to kind of come back in after Labor Day and focus in. And we've seen this previous years. If you remember, 16 years ago, John McCain was up 2 points after his convention and ends up losing to Obama by 7 or 8. So we see these swings in the polls when different things occur. This is a big shakeup, and I think it's going to take a few weeks for
Sure.
things to settle down.